Hey everybody, Ted Gravlin with today's TEDcast. If you like the videos you're seeing here, remember to subscribe. It's on YouTube. Find me, Ted Gravlin, and just subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the button at the bottom. Also hit the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Today's topic is going to be about the impact that pricing has in your budgeting for how much you have to do to cover your costs. So let's talk about this. This is like actually step one in getting your business to be stable and grow it. First thing we have to do is understand all of our numbers. So I've got a diagram over here again of the accounting equation. There's 5 parts to it: revenue, direct cost, gross profit, overhead, and net profit. So revenue, money coming in. Direct cost is the cost it costs you to do the jobs. Equipment and stuff you have to buy and labor and stuff. Gross profit is when you subtract the two. Gross profit, a lot of people start to call that profit, but it ain't. Overhead is all the things you have to pay for, even if you don't sell anything. And then, of course, net profit is what's left over after you subtract everything out, and this is why they call it the bottom line. So out of these 5 things, there's only one of them that is not a moving target. Revenue goes up and down all the time. You sell more, you sell less, right? Direct cost goes up and down because every time you sell some more stuff, it costs you more, right? The gross profit changes because those two change. Overhead stays the same. Net profit goes up and down because, of course, everything's changing and it changes. So overhead stays the same. So overhead is one of the key pieces we use to figure out how to set our prices and how, what we're going to have to do, what we have to cover by setting our prices, how much money we have to pay out to be able to break even or make a profit, a net profit for the business. So I've got some examples over here, and what I did is I grabbed some sample data from a company and I put it on the board here just to give you an idea of how it works. So I've got a company here that has an overhead every month of $18,000. Now that's a company probably with 3-4 people in it, something like that, 3, 4, 5 people. If your overhead is like $18,000, and that might include like the owner's salary and the office help and stuff, that would be in the overhead, right? That would have things like truck payments and leases and maybe an office space or a shop space or whatever, and insurance and all that, phone bills and marketing and all that stuff's in the $18,000 number. So in order to break even, they have to make $18,000 down here to break even. Okay, you got to make it all the way to there. The net profit is 0, but you have to subtract all this out and have the net profit be a 0. If you want to have the net profit be a number above that, like 10% net or something, then we're going to talk about that too. So let's look at that as far as how that works here, and we're going to use an example of our average sale for our equipment. A replacement sale. So if our equipment cost is $2,500, that's to buy the equipment like, a condenser and a coil and a pad, a line set and a furnace, okay, like the major parts to do an install. We're not talking about the screws and wire nuts and tape and stuff, but the equipment costs $2,500 in our example. And what do you have to do if you're pricing your stuff at the margins that we talk about, to hit the margins that we're talking about? How much do you have to sell to break even at $18,000? Okay, so if you're buying for $2,500, if you're selling for $6,250, you have $76,000 of sales you have to make in a month. Almost $1 million a year. So 83,000 is $1 million. You got to be on track towards 900 and something thousand per year. You have to sell 12.3 units per month to cover that. You got to sell 12 units to cover 18,000. Now, if you set your price at 7,500, you only got to sell 59,000. You got to sell 7.8, so 8 units. Okay. If you set your prices for this at $10,000, then you only got to sell 39.5, so we'll call it 40,000. And you want to sell 4 units. So what's easier, sell 4 units or sell 12 units? Now, you may say, I can't sell at those prices. Well, you can. You just have to figure out, if you want to sell at whatever price you want to sell at, figure out how to make it worth it for your customer, and they'll buy it. So you have to first make up your mind where you're going to sell the prices to do those things. And that's if you have a $2,500 cost for your equipment because maybe you're using some, higher SEER stuff or whatever. You're not using the lowest thing you can get, and you're going in that direction. So you have to sell, again, 12 units versus 4 units. Well, who's got a marketing problem? This guy has a marketing problem. He has to find 12 customers to buy from him. And if he's got a 50% close rate, he has to find 24 leads. He has to find a lead every day. at least every day, and probably more than that, because he's probably not even that good. Bottom line is, what I found out is, if you're priced down low like this, you're probably not even all that good at selling, and probably not all that good at marketing and all that stuff. This guy over here only has to find 7 or 8 customers because he's only going to sell 4. Okay, so weird parts there. Now, that's to break even. If you want to make a 10% net, so remember over here, this was a 0. If we want to make this into 10% net, then I got to sell more. Now I got to sell 19 units instead of 12 to make 10% net. I got to sell one virtually every day of the working month, because most months have 20 to 22 working days in. I got to install a $6,200 install every single day of the month in order to make 10% net. Over here, $7,500 cost, if that's my average. I only got to sell 10, well 11, 10.7. Okay. Over here, I only got to sell 5. So again, we're back to, you can sell 4 and 5 units and have a real nice living if you're selling them at a nice price, or you can go over here and have it messed up. So now, let's just take one more scenario. What happens if we're not using $2,500 equipment? What happens if we're using lesser expensive, more basic stuff, builder model or a different brand or something, and it costs only $2,000? You say, hey, I'm going to keep my costs down. I'll buy the cheaper equipment and I can sell it for less. So using the same markups and margins and stuff, I'm selling this one for $5K, $6K, and $8K. So if I'm selling for 5, I got to sell 15 units, to break even. I got to sell 24 units to make 10% net at 5K. Over here, I got 6. I got to sell 13 and a half. Call it 14 units. Over here, I got to sell 6 and a half. I got to call it 7. So it's actually easier to sell higher end equipment at a better price and break even quicker, because remember, no matter what we're doing, these overheads don't change, with one exception. Now, realize this: if I have to install 24 units instead of 5 or 6 units, my overhead probably does go up, and it probably gets worse as it goes up, because I probably need more help. I need more guys and more office staff and more marketing and more everything going on there. So my direct costs go up, but also my other stuff goes up. Like, you start needing, you're running 25 units a month, you're going to need warehouse help. You're going to need a whole bunch more going on in your business. That's like a lot of spinning your wheels and busy stuff, which adds to overhead, which makes it 25 probably becomes 30 units pretty quick, and it becomes a never-ending battle. You never quite catch up. If you're not set up right, you have to understand how all these numbers interlock, and this all ties into your marketing as well. What are you doing to be able to sell at these various prices? Because the first step is work out the prices and work out what numbers you have to sell at. The next step is work out what you're going to offer for your business to make it worth it for your customers to buy at those numbers. The third step is train yourself and your people to be able to achieve that, to hit those numbers and do good sales in that. So that's kind of the gist of it for today's TEDcast, and I wanted to go through how this affects in really great detail. So this is a spreadsheet I use for doing this, and where you plug in your own numbers and you get your own break evens and things on it, because maybe yours isn't 18,000, you want to find that yours is 8,000 or something. You can plug it in and see how many units you have to sell to break even and make 10% and 15% and whatever net you want to make. It gives you those numbers for planning. So these are the jobs of being an owner. Being an owner is not knowing how to change contactors and install systems and do really good sheet metal work. It's nice to know how to do that, but this is owner stuff. Understanding how to break all this down. When I'm working with people that I work with, it's the first thing we work on is getting these kind of things and giving an education in how to set this up. And sometimes you can make an impact. I can make an impact sometimes by helping someone understand the most basic parts of this, where you don't have to get that deep in it like I just did. I can say, hey, look, stop selling for this price, start selling for another price, and in a week they're going, oh my God, everything's better. Right, exactly. That's exactly how we want it to be. So here's what's interesting about this. So it's the fall of the year right now. It's coming up on Thanksgiving week. I always took my Thanksgiving weekend after the Thursday. I took my Friday and Saturday every year to make sure that my budget planning was done well for the coming year, coming forward. I did that on purpose because I wanted to make sure, and I was always planning ahead, but I would make sure it was finalized on Thanksgiving so that going into the rest of the holidays in December, when I hit the first of the year, I knew I had a budget plan that was ready to go. So I'm going to do a seminar. I'm going to do it next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I'm going to do a seminar, and I'm going to do it for free, actually, and I'm going to do it at noon Eastern. So, you know, when you can sit there and make your leftover turkey sandwich, come in, so we'll do a Zoom call, we'll sit on the thing, and we'll talk about how to do a budget plan for working this stuff out, so that you know that you have your pricing and everything set up for the coming year, and you're probably going to get price increases from your manufacturers and that as well. Maybe you won't have those sheets yet, but you know how to plug them in real quick and make your numbers jump off the page at you and what you're going to have to do. So I'm going to do that again on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving this year. So if you want to do that, send me a message and we'll get you signed up. Actually, what I'll do, I'll put a link here where you can click a link and go ahead and sign up for free. You can, send it. It'll ask you for your email. That way, it'll sign you up for it. And all you have to do then is show up. I've done the free things before, and it's amazing to me how many people will just not show up. Dude, it's free. Show up for the damn seminar. I'm going to show you how to do budget plan, and we'll spend an hour or so doing it, and I'll show you how to plug in your numbers and work it out, and we'll, grab a guinea pig or something out of whoever shows up, and we'll do it for you. So go ahead and sign up, and we'll talk soon.